Welcome to Deep Thought. Develop your ideas into a plan. Now, this is actually going to be a three-part series about the plan. The plan is what you want to do in life. What's your mission? Where you want to go? It's very important to plan because it keeps you on track. Because the road to success in anything, there's always something that's going to interfere. And if you're just going through life, la-di-da and all of that, you're in trouble. Because now, with the situation now that we have going on, there's a lot of chaos and everything. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to throw you off. Now, at the time I'm recording this, basically the week was thrown off because of the whole COVID thing. My week was thrown off because of the whole COVID thing. There were a lot of stuff I'll share this much. My son was just getting his wisdom teeth taken out. So that's like major surgery. But before they even get to that point, he had to have a COVID test. That's standard now. Even though he don't show any signs of anything before they even operate, they want to know if you got something. All right, okay, fine, we got that. But something was thrown off because the people who did the test, they were late in getting results back. Because another thing he had to have was a regular doctor's appointment, pre-op appointment. But they wouldn't look at him till the test came back. So it's like, wow, that threw everything off. But the plan in the end was still the surgery. That was still the goal. So let's just say there was a lot of stuff that came in to make sure some people came up with the test results quick enough so everything could get done. That was the final goal. I use that as an example because you want to know what your final goal is, right? Where's the destination? And I've talked about this before on, I might have talked about it here. Let me know if I talked about it here, but I know I talked about it on my business channel. Just the road to success is never straight, right? So first you have that plan. What's the goal, And then you have to plan the steps to get there. And then even when you plan the steps, you got to have room for adjustments to adapt. But before you even get there, you got to have an idea. Everything in life starts with a thought. The microphone I use to record this started with a thought somewhere. The laptop I'm recording this on started with a thought. The program that I'm recording this and ultimately, turn into this podcast, with the picture, everything, sound, everything started with a thought. Everything started with a thought, regardless of what spiritual system you follow or, the term you use for what you consider who you consider to be the creator, that started with a thought, and of course the thought became a word. But that's another conversation. But it started with a thought. People familiar with Hermetic knowledge know everything is mental, right? So, but before you can get there, before you can even get there, you have to have the ideas. The ideas. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do this. You need to have the idea. What do you want to do? You got to have that vision. Now, I've talked about vision boards before, but it's the idea. What's the idea that you have? What's the thought? And that, that thought, that idea, it can come from any place. You can be inspired. Somebody could say something and something click in you. You could just be sitting around meditating or sitting around smoking a J or something, drinking some alcohol, watching a dumb TV show. All of a sudden, the idea is like, wow. And you feel strongly about that idea. That's where the plans start. It's like you have the idea and then you want to execute that idea, but you have to develop it into a plan. How do I make this idea? It starts off with the idea, the thought, but how do you make this thought a reality? Someone had to make this microphone design a reality. Someone had to make this platform in which you're listening to what I talk about a reality. But it started off into a thought. And, I started off as a thought. But in order to make it happen, you have to have a plan. And that's the key. That's the roadmap. A plan is a roadmap. So you want to have that plan, but the ideas have to come first. You can't just have, you can't just, it's impossible to put together a plan without knowing what's the plan for. You can't just say, well, I got a plan. Okay, what's the plan? What's it for? What's the goal of it? Right? This is a very important thing. This is a very important thing because look, the greatest power, the greatest gift that every single human being has is the ability to think. That's the whole point of this channel. That's why I don't promote a specific spiritual path. I don't tell people what to think. My thing is just think. Know how powerful that is. Those thoughts you have, those ideas you have, every single person might have $1 million idea. They might have $1 million idea. But they have to execute it. They have to bring it into fruition. I'm going to talk about execution Thursday. All right? And what you need for it to get it there tomorrow. But you got to just think about it. You got to have those ideas. Now, I'm going to tell you what. There's several ways to have the idea. Like you might need something. You might actively just start thinking about something. Like it could be just a simple process of becoming a millionaire. So, you'll sit there and specifically think, okay, what kind of ideas can I have? What kind of thoughts? How do I think I can get here? Whatever inspires you to get to that point. Or it could be something that hits you out of the blue. Some of the greatest creations in history hit people out of the blue. They just saw something somewhere or an idea hit them. Somebody said something to them. They saw something, they observed something, they experienced something, Like a lot of stuff that I thought about, a lot of things that took me on a path, it just hit me out of the blue. I'll give you an example. People are most familiar with my book, Nice Guys and Players. All right. And, anybody who's ready to follow my stuff knows my program is largely about developing your sex appeal. It was a thought that hit me. It was, I think it was in 1996 that there existed people who just had natural sex appeal. It's a simple thought, right? Simple thought. So, I was like, oh, okay. And it led me on a path where I found out about things who, like about tantra, sacred sexuality, more advanced sexual methods, 9 levels of orgasm, the Kama Sutra, things like that, right? Because the plan, I had those ideas. The plan was to find out, okay, everything I cared about it. And that took me on a certain path. So it's like the idea hit me. And then I developed it into a plan to find out more information. Because the goal of it was just to learn it, find out. That's how you got to do it. You have those ideas, develop them, put them into a plan, or at least think about it and see if it's worth a plan. Real powerful, real powerful. Because look, I call this deep thought because I want y'all to think about stuff, And like I said, it don't have to be on my path. This is not a temple or anything like that. I just want you to think. Because once you think, power. That's like total power. So, anyway, that's all I have for today, y'all. Check out what I have to say on this tomorrow. Peace and blessings.